Okay, welcome to the February 20th chat. Hopefully I have everybody who has to speak. We'll skip down. An announcement of mine. So next Thursday, for the first time in almost 6 years, I will be totally off of the program. David Rosenthal will be running it. I'll be winging my way to Florida. I'll be on the next week, and then I'll be winging my way back, and Faye Busgang will be doing that. I'll be on the one in the middle. So the 27th will be David, and March 6th, I guess, will be me, and March 13th will be Faye. So remember, when you're requesting to make announcements, to send the next series of requests to David. And also remember that unless they feel the audience isn't large enough, then stay on after we have Matt, because we're having the raffle, and it looks to me like the gang is all there for the raffle. So that will be at the end of this program. So we'll start with Marilyn Stone. Marilyn Stone?
Marilyn was having trouble getting on.
Okay, then we'll move on to Sharon Gavea.
Hi, everyone. I just want you to know that the next Saturday social is going to be at on March 1st, a week from Saturday, at 2 p.m. in Great Meadow Hall. And the theme for this Saturday social is, Who Am I? So come find out. If you know the famous celebrity, could be a movie star, could be a person in history, could be one of our very own here at Newbridge. And always remember that snacks will be served. So plan to join us next Saturday in Great Meadow Hall, March 1st. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Nancy Coomer, are you there? I don't see you listed, so we'll go on to Michael Ross.
Nancy also had trouble getting on.
Michael
Thanks.
Ross.
Thank you, Jerry. Josh will be updating the community with some highlights regarding dining later in the Zoom call. I want to share some thoughts on behalf of the dining committee. The dining staff is facing challenges in providing the quality of service they want to give us. There were a few glitches around Open Table which created frustration and are being ironed out. Importantly, several members of the dining team have been out sick with infectious diseases, which has meant that they've been more short-staffed than usual, working hard, but at the same time protecting all of us. There are a number of things we as residents can do to ensure that all IO residents have as good an experience as possible, whether dining in Centro or Nosh. Reminder, Centro is reservations only. We don't always get the time we want, but arriving significantly earlier or asking to be seated right away or arriving late potentially hurts the service that can be given to our fellow residents. Nosh, reservations are strongly recommended, but the staff will try to accommodate walk-ins on a space available basis. However, this is after giving preference to those with reservations. Groups of reservations in both venues are made on a 15-minute calendar. We will be seated as promptly as possible, but because multiple groups are assigned the same time, the dining team cannot seat all groups with reservations in the same time slot simultaneously. As in any restaurant, we can expect to wait a few minutes to be seated. To help the team and to help ourselves, don't crowd the front desk. It just slows things down. As best practice, send the table's host to the desk to check in, and seating will be in the order of checking in. The dining team and the dining committee expect that problems can arise or that things will not always run as smoothly as we want. If there is an immediate problem, speak with the manager on duty. But let's all remember to be polite. Rudeness, yelling, shouting doesn't fix things. We should not and cannot take out frustration on the frontline team. For any problem that is not an emergency, that doesn't need immediate attention, please let Josh know, let Eileen know, let me or any other member of the dining committee know. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Michael. So I don't see either Marilyn nor Nancy Coomer. So we'll move on. Rabbi Judy.
Hello, everybody. I have two announcements for March. Number one is that on March 13th, just 3 short weeks away from now, is Purim. Purim is a really fun night at Newbridge because nobody knows who's who. Lots of people get dressed up in costume and see if you can recognize me. We will have a festive dinner. Seating will begin at 5 o'clock. At 5:30, dinner will be served, if the wait staff can figure out who's who. But you'll sit at the nameplates, I guess, and the table settings, people will know who you are. And then after the festive dinner, we will have an abbreviated English reading of the Scroll of Esther, alias the Megillah, as you munch on Hamantaschen. So please look out for the flyer that I'm going to be sending out later today. And there'll be the menu coming out soon, and reservations are required. So that's March 13th. And then 10 days after that, March 23rd, is a Sunday. And at 2 o'clock, we're going to have our annual Judy Markovich lecture with our guest speaker, Dr. Arnie Eisen, the Chancellor Emeritus of JTS. He'll be speaking about his new book, Seeking the Hiding God. It describes his personal theological journey, and it should be really interesting, and there will be refreshments served afterwards. So I encourage you to mark your calendars now. It should be really worthwhile. If Nancy Coomer doesn't show up, I could make her announcement, but hopefully before we wrap up announcements, she will be online.
Oh, thank you. I was going to ask if somebody knew what she was going to say. So Marilyn Stone has gotten on. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Hi, everybody. Nancy Baker and I have teamed up to reintroduce bingo. We're going to try different times and see what members prefer. So on February 27th at 1:30 in the afternoon in the synagogue, we're going to have bingo. It's still going to be $4 for 2 cards, and you know the pot is always very big. Hope to see you then. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so we'll go on to Nancy Vega.
Howdy, everybody. Just a couple announcements. First off, a huge thank you to everyone who joined us for our special viewing of Wicked last Saturday. I know we definitely tried to bring the movie theater experience to you, and I actually just found out yesterday that it inspired Assisted Living to an unplanned viewing party of their own in the living room. And so that to me just makes it a big hit, and I am super excited for future showings. But it definitely warmed my heart to hear that. The second thing, this is a last call for anyone who's interested in joining our Lars Anderson Auto Museum trip that we have scheduled on Wednesday. But unfortunately, we're about to risk cancellation if we can't get at least one more person to join, because there is a minimum to having the trip. So on their end. So we need at least one more person to sign up. Please call the trip hotline by Monday, or else we're going to have to cancel it for those who signed up. The next thing is resident-led courses are starting this week, coming Sunday. And the legendary Bob Orkin is kicking it off at 10:30. But there's a bonus. First come, first serve. If you come at 10 a.m., you might be able to snag a warm treat. So hint, hint, wink, wink. We got something for you for the early bird gets the worms. And last but not least, I just wanted to do a quick shout out for programs that are coming. You're going to get next week's flyers, but if I could just remind you, on Monday at 2 p.m., Faye Bus Gang's Residents Present, and Jacob's Ladder concert Tuesday night. So don't miss all of these fun and energetic programs that we have for next week. And thank you so much for being an amazing community.
Okay, you know, Rabbi Judy, I think I'll have you do this now before we go to the culinary group.
Okay, I haven't rehearsed it, so I hope I get it right. The Interfaith Planning Committee has planned an interfaith dinner and movie with discussions, actually a video, an hour-long video, which will start, it's on Wednesday, March, no, I'm getting this wrong. Wednesday, third time lucky. February 26, is that right? I've got so many dates, I can't keep them straight.
26.
So Wednesday, February 26 at 5 o'clock in Great Meadow Hall, we'll be watching a video in the series of Who is God with Morgan Freeman, and the topic under discussion in this very interesting video is Beyond Death. We will then have a dinner that requires registration. It will be a buffet dinner from at 6 o'clock, followed by a discussion on the video. The deadline has already passed, but because some people had difficulty with signing up, Josh has generously agreed to keep it open until midnight tonight. So if you want to come, it should be really interesting. Please make sure to sign up by the end of today, and then you'll be able to attend. Anyone on the committee want to correct me? Did I make any mistakes?
Good.
Good. Okay. See you there.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Rabbi. Okay, we'll move on to Eileen and Josh.
Thank you, Jerry. I think it might just be myself. First, I want to thank Rabbi Judy for bringing up a couple of topics and of events, and I'll elaborate. And certainly, Michael, thank you for framing some of the challenges the dining team are currently going through. And I do thank in advance the community's consideration when dealing with the challenges that may cause some slight delays and hiccups. So thank you, everybody. In regards to the interfaith dinner, if you did have any struggles signing up, I know that Joe Zagalis had made himself available. In addition to myself, we heard from a few residents and were able to either help them or sign up on their behalf. And again, you can sign up using the link in the dining website for the Interfaith Dinner Buffet, and that link will remain open through midnight tonight. And if you have any struggles in the next couple hours signing up, just give Joe or myself a holler. In addition to Purim, that link is on the dining website as a save the date. So if you will go to the dining website, upcoming events, you'd see the save the date. And then beginning this Monday, the menu and the registration for Purim opens. It will be open through March 7th. So the deadline to sign up through the dining website for Purim will be March 7th. That will include your meal choices. And there'll be details and instructions. And again, there'll be some contacts if you have any trouble using the dining website to pre-order and register electronically. There'll be some support if you need it. Again, that is on the website as a save the date, but the official menu and registration begins this Monday, February 24th. A couple of things that came up about the electronic ordering. When there's a purchase involved, when you're purchasing a meal, you will see a zero balance. The reason for that is for these dining events, you're able to use your spend down credits. If we put a dollar amount attached to the ticket itself, it would require some form of an out-of-pocket payment in the form of a credit card. It does not recognize our dining spend down. So it'll show as a zero balance, but once you've gotten your confirmation that you've registered, we will make the charges to your dining credits based on your meal selection or the price of the meal. So I hope that clears up some of the confusion with the zero balance. And finally, just Open Table. Michael had mentioned that the transition had a few bumps along the way. I'm happy to report that most of those bumps have been worked out. The majority of the process, as far as making your reservations, whether you call, do it in person, or actually use the app or online, are working. The other things that we're working out are some of the added attributes that Open Table offers, like inviting a friend to your reservation. And we're working on those. And once we have those processes, we can share those added things. But the main crux of Open Table in making reservations appears to be working. I know that residents are getting confirmations and cancellations via text if they have their mobile number, or at least by email. And again, share your experiences. If something doesn't seem to be working properly, or you have a question, many of the things that we've worked through have come through the feedback of the residents using the Open Table. So for that and the sharing, I really do thank everyone. And then finally, you'll notice at the salad bar, we have added, in addition to the sanitizer, deli gloves that you can slip over your hands when using the utensils at the salad bar. This is an added precaution for the spread of any possible communicable diseases. We've got multiple things going around. So just if you like and want to make yourself extra safe, or for the courtesy of those who use it, please feel free to slip on one of the gloves when you're using the utensils at the salad bar. Jerry, I really appreciate your time, and thank you again, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Nancy Coomer, you don't know, but just seconds before you got on finally, we asked the rabbi to substitute for you. I don't know whether, why don't you just come on and give a very brief summary again, but assume the rabbi did a good job covering it. Go ahead. I'll unmute you. I guess I can't. You have to do it yourself.
Okay. No, thanks so much. I am going to trust that Rabbi Judy has given all the information. I'm glad to get on at last. But Josh also, I got on just as Josh was giving the information about signing up. So if you haven't signed up yet, it should be a very interesting program. And the final sign-up deadline is midnight tonight for the interfaith meeting on January 26th. And Judy, have you covered everything?
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to Matt Hollingshead.
All right, thanks, Jerry. And I want to extend a public thank you to you, Jerry, for putting together what I consider to be just an incredibly moving experience, particularly in my career. So I had the honor of attending a luncheon for those that are 95 years or older. And this was Jerry's idea, hosted by Jerry. Jerry worked at the culinary department, and there were 35 Newbridge residents of 95 or older that were all together enjoying lunch, sharing stories, talking about what it meant to be 95 or older. And from my perspective, it was one of the most awesome opportunities I've had in my career to just be amongst so much wisdom and perseverance and honestly celebration. It was a very neat event. So Jerry, thanks for the invite. And to all of you that are 95 and older and in attendance, I hope you thought it was as special as I did. It was really cool. So thank you.
Thank you. We sent out the invitation for next year so people can plan. Those who are going to become 95, will get their invitation after their birthday.
Yeah, it was special. It really was. From the COVID front, we're doing great. Knock on wood, no COVID cases right now. As Josh alluded to, there is a little bit of neurovirus, not in IL, but we are seeing it in spaces like the healthcare center and a little bit in assisted living. So that is not a fun one by any means. So please take precautions. Washing your hands is by far the best thing you can do. And as always, if you don't feel well, please stay home. That's critical. in terms of the meat and potato things I want to talk about today, we're going to focus a little bit this conversation on capital. And I just wanted to share with the community that over the last 18 months, Fernando and myself have been working with an outside company called Onsite Insight. And what they do is they come into senior living communities and they go through the building from A to Z and identify what the cost is to replace items. So for example, what would it cost to replace a window, roofs, parking lots? And then they go through and they establish the condition that all that stuff is in. And then they help us work out a 20-year plan to replace everything and what the cost will be. And of course, they include inflationary riders and things like that in there. So the cost for replacement's realistic. So that took us quite some time. Fernando spent many, many days with them. And then in addition to that, we had another organization or company come out here called Love & Company. And they're strategic company that's focused on programmatic changes for senior living communities. And they work across the United States, and they'll say things like, you need a dog park, you need pickleball, these outlets are outdated, this is the kind of technology you should be looking for. So we took all their information and we rolled it into the information that we had from Onsite Insight. And then lastly, we took all the feedback that we've gotten from residents over the years, because believe it or not, I do write it down, as well as our leadership. And we folded that in and came up with an extremely comprehensive capital plan for the next 20 years. Now, the reason we did this is because I just don't work well without a plan. And, call it a strength or a weakness, whatever you want, but I need a plan to work from. And HSL totally supported the idea. And so we put together this very comprehensive plan. We have discussed it at great length with the finance committee. So they're familiar with the plan as well. Now, the plan doesn't necessarily mean that things aren't going to go awry. We've always got 1.5 million square feet, something's going to happen. But it gives us the ability to move forward and know how we're going to tackle things. So I wanted the community to know that that had been happening in the background. Now, at the same time, there's 3 other major planning initiatives that I've been working on. The first one being the landscape master plan, which you've all heard about. If all goes well in the spring, we should be able to start doing some planting in zone 1. We broke out the campus in multiple zones. We start with zone 1, then move on to zone 2 or prioritize whoever we see fit. But the idea is that we can handle a little bit each year until we're able to go through the entire campus. The other piece that we're working on, and we started working with the architects DeMille Schaefer, and they're also designers, is a life cycle renovation of the community center. So what does that mean? That means carpeting or flooring, any wall covering, fixtures and furniture. So updating all that stuff. And that includes the resident hallways in the 5,000 building. So that work has begun. The hope is that by fall, we will actually be doing some of the work in the buildings and getting this thing going. Couple variables in there, such as the speed that the designers are working, contingency plans in terms of if other things go wrong, how do we prepare for it? But we've earmarked the funds and we're ready to start that project. We're just waiting on the finalized work. When that comes together, we'll have a design committee put together that will go through it and work through the selections to try to identify what we think is best. Now, I've never done a design project that didn't have many, many complaints. And it's not me picking the stuff out. I'm not terrific at that stuff. If I didn't buy my clothes off the shelf, you would laugh at the way I dress on any given day. So just know that that's the purpose of the design committee and the architects, is to leave it up to the experts. And then lastly is the one we've been talking about for quite a while, which is the renovation of the kitchen redesigns in the back of the house with the kitchen redesign. That's a longer term project. As you can imagine, the expense of that is incredibly significant. However, we have begun the design work with that. Josh and his team has been working with DeMille Schaefer, the same company that's doing the life cycle renovation work at the community center. And we've done that intentionally so that way the community doesn't feel like a hodgepodge. We want the community to have the same feel, and we want to use the same architects so we can tie everything together. So just a little feedback on where we are in those projects and how we've gotten to this place. And then lastly, hopefully when we have our thaw that we've all been so desperately waiting for, the EV chargers will be installed. We're working with an organization called New Wave. New Wave are the ones that will be installing them. And again, we got a very significant amount of funding from the state to put those in. So we're excited to have those installed and become part of what is contemporary society when it comes to having EV chargers. So with that, tried to cover a lot of things quick because we've got a very exciting raffle. But I do want to open it up for questions.
Any questions? You see any, Faye? I don't see any. Yeah, you've covered it
All right,
well.
let's find some winners.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to turn it over to, I guess, the Shapiro boardroom. The auctioneer is putting his hat on.
I just came out of the dressing rooms, Jerry. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm broadcasting from raffle headquarters here in the Shapiro boardroom. We are now in our second week of the fifth, can't believe it, the fifth annual Newbridge on the Charles Scholarship Fund raffle season. And I want to comment, in their wisdom, the Scholarship Fund Committee selected ice cream as the fifth year theme. And I have to say, I find it very, very appropriate. I did some research and going back to some of the great philosophers and history, Pericles, and even Aristotle got involved, and Descartes, and all of these guys. And I think the basic theme is ice cream and the scholarship fund have a lot in common. The more you share, the better everyone feels. And that is certainly good about eating ice cream and contributing to the scholarship fund. For example, we started last week with the Sunday, Thursday. I hope everybody enjoyed that. We had 10 residents win each win 5 pints of ice cream. And I trust they're currently enjoying their winnings. And I believe they also discovered the true secret to happiness is the bottom of an ice cream cup that's topped by chocolate sauce, whipped cream, and sprinkles. And, you know, if you want to find the meaning of life and happiness, have a Sunday. And the best part of it all was it was free, absolutely free. And it was compliments of Eileen and Josh. And again, my thanks to them and your C&B team. Now we have 3 more drawings coming up. The next one, the second one, is next Thursday during the Weiner Hour, and it'll be followed by one on the March 4th, which is the grand finale drawing, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But to participate in these drawings, you need a ticket. The people that have bought tickets by noon today will participate in today's drawing. And they will also participate in the next 2 coming up on the 27th and March 4th. If you want to participate, and we hope you do, you have to purchase a ticket, and you'll be eligible for next week's and the grand finale. Now, today's raffle will have 4 winners from a pool of residents that have tickets. These lucky residents can win a tour of Newbridge's facility. And I'm talking about a tour of the guts of Newbridge. And it's going to be hosted and conducted by Fernando Rodriguez. And boy, this is not a superficial tour. Fernando is director of facilities for Newbridge. So he certainly knows, you know, every nook and cranny of the campus. And it should be a lot of fun. And then a $75 a Bella Vita Salon certificate, which is always, you know, very popular here. And I must compliment Bella Vita for consistently, every year we've had our raffle, they have been a major contributor to the scholarship fund and of course, the educational support for our employees. We also will have a Newbridge trip dinner for two. And this will be, you'll be part, and it's free, both the transportation and the dinner. And this will be part of the arrangements that Community Life makes every month to go out to a local restaurant. And then lastly, you'll have, the winner will receive a Newbridge Life horse. Now, you know, I have to tell you that, my suspense as to who is going to win these great prizes today are going to be up to, who are going to be determined by Joe and Fernando. And let's get on with that. I'm just simply dying to see who has won these. So let's churn up some excitement and see who scoops up these prizes.
You go first. Yeah, next, yeah. It's all you, Joe. We'll get over that this way.
Oh, yeah, the first one will be a campus tour with Fernando.
Okay, with Fernando lead.
Fran and Manny Tito.
Fran and Manny Tito.
Does this go back in now? Could they win again?
Not now, put it down for now.
Okay.
Number two, a Newbridge Life course.
We'll take this one. Hold on, quick, put on my glasses. Abby Young, Unit 3111.
Abby Young. The next one is a $75 gift certificate at Bella Vita.
All right, let's see. Cynthia Siegel. Cynthia Siegel.
Cynthia Siegel. And the last one is a Newbridge trip dinner for two.
You can have the honors, Joe. Yeah. All right.
Have at it.
Oh,
Dig
geez,
deep,
they're all
dig deep.
sticking out. Oh, geez.
For dinner outside.
This is hard to read. The heck is- Marcia Vinicelli. Oh, yeah, Marcia Vinicelli.
Marcia Vanicelli, a dinner for two.
What time should I pick you up?
Congratulations all. Those are terrific prizes. And next week, we will also have 4 winners. And really, I think there's some pretty neat prizes next week. And remember, you have to purchase a ticket if you don't currently have one to be eligible for next week's winnings. Again, there'll be a $75 Bella Vita gift certificate. There'll be another Newbridge Life course, which is terrific. And here's something a little different. You'll have a 4-hour excursion in a Newbridge Tesla. And I'm assuming you'll have the choice of color. I don't know that. And the last one, this is terrific. And in past years, the reports have been terrific. It's a special chef-prepared dinner for 4 with Matt Hollingshead. And the food is going to be fantastic because the boss is sitting right there and he's going to get treated very well. Now, remember, you need a ticket. So please find your salesman, buy a ticket. The grand drawing will be held on March 4. And I'd like to highlight this in Great Meadow Hall, beginning at 7:15. And it's going to be a fun night. The grand prizes are as they have been in past years. The third grand prize is a $500 rental credit. This is real cash that can be used as a credit against your monthly rent. The second grand prize will be a $1,500 rental credit against your rent. And the big one the granddaddy will be a $3,000 rental credit for your monthly rent. And then, again, this is real money. And then there'll be a couple of other specialty prizes added in for fun. Now, these drawings will be followed by a sit-down blowout ice cream sundae party. And I think this is going to be the cherry on the top of the 2025 raffle season. But enough said about that. Keep in mind, you're going to need a reservation. So make a reservation and make sure you buy your tickets. Now, attendance does not require a ticket to the grand finale. It's open to all residents. But to be eligible, of course, to win the prizes, you have to purchase a ticket. And if you haven't done so already, don't worry. The Saints are still with you. There's still plenty of opportunity to purchase a ticket. Our all-star ticket sellers are still canvassing the campus, and they're out there through rain, shine, and more recently, frigid temperatures. And they really are trying to create an opportunity so every single resident can participate in the raffle, win prizes, and support the scholarship fund and our employees. And last thoughts, remember, the grand drawing needs a reservation, and you need a ticket. So don't waffle on buying tickets. See your salesperson. And again, congrats to all the winners today. And as I like to say, Slangafore, which is very, very similar to Ziegezund. And we'll see you next week.
And just a comment for those who came in late, had trouble, and didn't hear that the reason you had trouble was not what we originally thought, that the wrong link had been sent out, but Matt said there's been a trouble with the Zoom operation all day, and that's combined with, I think, some local troubles with our internet. And so thank you for everybody who was so clever and so persistent to be able to get in. Next week, I just remind you, it will be David Rosenthal taking my place. Those who want to make an announcement should be in touch with him. And 3 weeks from now, it'll be Faye Busgang. For a similar reason, I'll be in an airplane at the time of the chat. Have a good weekend, everybody. See you next week.